Welcome, everybody, to the Scale Up Show. This is your host, Ryan Staley. I have a very, very special guest on with me today. I have François Gaouette. He is the founder and CEO of Amilia, one of Quebec's fastest growing tech companies. On top of it, he was a former venture capitalist turned founder, which is cool. Can't wait to dig into that. And has over 25 years of experience investing in early stage software and internet companies. Totally different perspective this episode. We're going from funding to founder. I love the concept of it. Welcome, François. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ryan, for having me on your show. Very excited to have the chance to participate and talk about my company and learn more about you. Really, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. I loved our little rap session before. It's one of my favorite things that I do with founders. So why don't we bring everybody up to speed, just a little bit about you and your background. So let's do a real quick revenue rundown. So where is Amilia in terms of ARR?
Well, we're on a run rate of around 16 million Canadian and growing very rapidly. Obviously, the pandemic reduced a bit our growth, but we continue to grow during the pandemic. And if you think about it, we're involved into community organizations, selling activities, and membership. It was not the prime place to be, but I think it speaks a lot to what we do. So yeah, and we expect to increase that growth as we get out of pandemic, because the need for digitization, people interacting with organization without having to show up in person is just going to be more and more important.
That's excellent. So that's a great run rate. And so what's your go-to-market strategy?
That's a very good question. It touched many aspects. Kind of we do inbound and we do outbound, because we started the company taking care of the SMB. Mm-hmm. So think about a dance studio, an after-school program, a gymnastic club. And that's really very difficult to have an outbound strategy with them, because they tend not to be there except when they're doing classes. So it has to be inbound. So that's how we started the business, generating traction to content and marketing, and having an inside sales organization closing deals. We do now have moved also up to the enterprise world, where we're going after the YMCA, the GCC, the multi-sports complex, and the parks and recs. Very large organization. They look more like a real operation. You can reach out to people. So we've built an outbound organization with SDR, and we see pretty good traction on that. It's working very well. It's rare that organizations do both. It's important for us due to the nature of what we do. It's very local. So when I land a dance studio in a given geography, through word of mouth, I'll get a gymnastic club, and then that's easier to go and reach out to the park and rec, because they already have users in the community of the platform. So see the SMB as a way to kind of a beachhead strategy, and then we come on with our outbound organization, and then we continue as we get. So we're really strong in five states: Colorado, Texas, California, Illinois, and the fifth one, for sure, I will forget about it. So we're starting to focus more on that on our outbound. So calling all those park and rec around the park and rec we've got in those, and it's a great strategy, because we leverage the community of people that we have using the platform. And like I said, it's a different world in which we are. Community are not competitive like business. If they find something pretty good that can help their dance studio, they'll tell everyone. They'll tell the gymnastic studio. They'll tell the YMCA, because they are all there to help the community. Versus in the business world, where you find something, you don't tell your competitor about it. It's a hedge you want to keep. So we're doing all of that, and now going into 2022, 2023, we're going to start adding two other components, because the way the platform was built right from the get-go, it's community-driven. So yeah, I sell to dance studio, I sell to all of those organizations, but the user is also my customer. So if you go to Grapevine, Texas, where that's one of our customers, well, They've implemented Amilia. There's a store in the city website. There's 41,000 citizens on Amilia that has a Amilia account. And while the next logical step is to start creating a marketplace that's very
Okay.
local and add other activity to it, and that will, by itself help us a lot grow the business significantly faster. So that's one aspect that we're starting to build. The second one is the ability to kind of decompose the platform, which is so powerful and big, into easier applications to adopt. So if you think about your YMCA, you've got that old technology. It's time for you to change, but it's very scary. It's complex. You don't have all the resources. You want to go online, you cannot with what you've got. I come in and I say, I put Amilia in, smart rec product. It will change your world. It'll become Amazon. It's going to be crazy. Well, it's a bit scary as a proposal. We find customers that are crazy enough to do it or the other adapter. But we could probably take care of your camp registration and tell them, well, start with Amilia on the campsite. You'll see. We'll see what we mean by that. Much easier to adapt. Well, that's scary. So we're going to be decomposing the platform to do that. So a multi-pronged approach. So we do inbound, outbound, word of mouth, marketplace, product lab.
Okay, yeah, a lot of different ways you're tackling that. So I love the multi-pronged approach, and obviously you wouldn't have gotten to where you're at if because it because that's a really unique market that you have too. So I could see where people wouldn't want to boil the ocean by tackling everything. So they just want a line of business function, which is really really typical in the enterprise space. So how big is your team in terms of numbers?
Well, we're 115 employees. Um, we're still very invested in the product, so 35 something plus developer. Um, the go-to-market team is we started to build it pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, so we stopped, and we started back in maybe Q4 of this year. So I've got around 25% split evenly between marketing and sales, but
Hmm.
that's the part of the business we're growing. So we're looking to hire an amazing VP of marketing. We're looking to hire a VP of sales. We're going to be building the customer success management component. So anybody that listens to the podcast that thinks can bring value to Amilia, make sure to connect with us. We're looking for talent. So we're growing there. We're looking for salespeople. We're looking for SDR. We're looking for marketing people. That's really at the stage where it's time for us to swing for the fence and capture that market.
Well, I have some people I might be able to connect you to as well, so we can talk about that after the show. So, okay, that's awesome, and congrats on your growth. And then, last but not least, are you bootstrapped or funded?
Kind of bootstrap. Funny thing is, like you said, I'm a VC turned entrepreneur, so I did not wanted to bring any institutional money into my company before I was capable of controlling the uh, the, um, the the future of the company. So along the way, I've raised a significant amount of money to me and my friends. Lucky enough, I've got some wealthy friends that were crazy enough to say, you know what, we're going to bet on your head and go build that stuff. So, but now we're at a stage where we're starting to look to bring our first social money. We're at a stage where I'm not scared of dealing with those guys, which they have a purpose in life. When you're really at a stage to accelerate everything, keep in mind that I've put all I have into the company. So along the way, and my brothers and my friends. So I was always wanted to make sure that along the way I could create value, and there will remain some for us. So we're at a stage now that I'm not scared of, adding a big chunk of money because I know I'm going to create a lot of value out of it.
Right, that's awesome, and I think that's a great jumping off point, Francois, because you have a really unique background. So, how did you decide to make the shift from a VC to a founder? Because that's very uncommon. Like we spoke before, it's usually the opposite way around.
Yeah, well, Um, my background is finance. I started one of the first VC fund here in Montreal. I love the job because it means I had to interact with a lot of entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
and that's the fun part of it for sure. Then you have to pick, analyze a play and say, oh, I think it's going to go in that direction, blah blah blah. Really, really love it. But the reality is that you're not really in the action. Okay? You talk to your entrepreneur, you try to help them, and at one point the success I had, seriously, I had I was good at picking the right horse, but I have nothing to do with that success, you know, other than I was there when they needed me, but I wanted to try something, be in the action, play the game, and honestly, I made a lot of good bets, but on the wrong horse, and it turns out pretty bad. And I said to myself, next time I'll bet on myself, and it turns bad, then I'll be the one. I'll be the one. And funny thing, I never thought I would become an entrepreneur, but wow, it's really fun. It's really fun. Wow, stressful, scary, but I highly recommend to everybody to try it in their life. Worst case that will happen, you'll learn something and you'll find a job very easily afterwards. So we should all try it. And I wanted also, maybe that's the last point. I always have been seen as the unpolitical guy in an organization. So
Hmm.
my VC partner would always say to people, "Don't send Francois to the UN because there will be war." I'm black, I'm white in a sense that I'm not good. If I think you're a moron, I'll tell you. If I think you're great, I'll tell you. So I said I want to do like a business where that's the culture, where people. It doesn't matter. I'm the CEO fencing stuff that are crazy. I hope you're gonna tell me you're full of shit, Francois, and that's how Amelia is working right now. So and having a lot of fun. Okay, these days if you work 70 hours a week, you better have a lot of fun because man, that
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur is a life. It's a lifestyle. It's like owning a restaurant. If you own a restaurant, it's because you want to be in the restaurant 7 days a week. Talk to the people that comes in. You develop a relationship with the people. You don't start a restaurant to stay at your home. You don't start a business you expect to work 35. I'm not working. I'm playing 70 hours a week, and in fact, I have difficulties, stopping
Yeah.
working.
That's common. I mean, I think everybody does because you're like, I do the same thing with myself, man. Because I'm I'm creating a business just like you, and there's like I got free time on the weekends, where I'm not with the kids or I'm not with the wife, and I'm like, I could watch TV or I could work on my business, right? Or I could read a book or I could work on my business, right? And so like that's I think that question is always in the back of your head. So it's like just kind of striking like the delicate balance of being totally engaged and immersed in your business, but then also like having a fulfilling life outside of that as well. At least that's for me. I don't know if it's the same for you or not.
Well, I'm lucky because yeah, I'm at a stage where my kids are out of the nest.
Hmm.
My girlfriend also. My girlfriend also played an instrumental role into the company as the VP Talent and Culture.
Oh,
So
cool.
we live that together. She understands why, and I understand why. She works more than me sometimes. It's like an adventure, and we're at that stage in life. And also we can, it's easier. Also, we just flew back from 2 weeks in Florida. We decided we're going to be working from there. I don't have kids at school. Very easy to do. We're going back in 2 weeks in Mexico for a week of vacation. So we work hard, we play hard, but yeah, it's very important too because stress can be very very damaging, difficult to to make sure that you don't overwork. But for me, it's not the work. Especially I'm not an indie man. I prefer working on my business and trying to repair something. In fact, my girlfriend doesn't want me to repair anything because I always end up worse. So
Yeah, it's like me. I'm good at fixing like white collar things, but if I go to fix something in the house, it's going to be twice as broke as when I touched
Yeah.
it. You know? So I feel you there. Let's go a little bit back. Let's go back in the journey a little bit. So, how did you build the company? So you don't have a tech background. You come from a financial background, right? You don't have a sales background really per se. It's that financial side. So how did you grow the company from 0 to 1 million?
I started with a grand vision, and I bet the farm on that's what would happen. And the grand vision was really simple. In 2009, I was already an e-commerce client, buying a lot of stuff on Amazon. And to me, it was obvious that your swim club could not survive if they were not moving in that direction. Think about it, even today, you've got kids. Much easier to buy anything and have it shipped to your door than trying to find a swim class and register your kid, which you think about it, it's mind blowing because you live in a
So,
city
so can I
for,
interrupt you? Can I interrupt you on this real quick? Because
yeah,
you're pretty good. So I've lived that, and my wife will be like trying to register like our kids for a camp or a class, and it's an abomination. Like it's just the worst experience. Like keeps timing out. Like it's clearly made with like popsicle sticks and duct tape. So, anyways, I'm sharing that with you because my wife doesn't swear a lot or she's really frustrated. So I imagine that happens all the time.
yeah, well, that's the state of the industry. Well, what you experience is what people experience everywhere. Okay, and you think about it, it's totally unacceptable when we're in 2022 and you can buy everything online and having shipped to your door. You can use your Uber app and you can do everything now. But trying to book a tennis court to go play tennis with your friend, good luck. Impossible. The thing about it, you live in a community. One of the reasons we live in a community is for that participation. I want to be involved in the circuit club. I want to be doing stuff. Well, it's impossible to do. So that's what we created Amilia 2009. The vision was pretty simple. It has to be Amazon. It has to be an e-commerce platform. It has to reach out to those people buying online. The same concept. Um, I thought it was going to be easy, but it turns out it's much more complex, and that's why it does not exist. We're the only platform that exists. We kind of created the Shopify of activities. So Shopify created technology for the small merchant. We're creating the same thing for activity-based providers, which are everywhere in your community.
Those
From
are
park,
so those are like YMCA's, soccer clubs, park districts, all different companies like that. Correct? Or
well,
organization.
think about that after-school program. We have on the platform driving school. Hey, you got to
Oh
register for
wow.
driving
Okay, driving
school.
school too.
Yeah,
So
we even have Canine Academy on the platform.
oh
Because
cool.
dog take classes
So
with
how did you get that then? It sounds like a pretty complex platform. So how long did it take you to go from 0 to 1? Like how many years?
0 to 1, 2 to 3 years, maybe
Okay.
3 to 4 years, 3 to 4 years, I would say,
And that
because
was
we really focused in Quebec, starting
okay.
to build that platform, the concept behind it, which is game changer, does not exist. And when I started, and I was going to see a gymnastic club, telling them, I'm going to give you a store, a card, a checkout. They go like, what? I don't need that. I'm not a merchant. I'm like, hey, you're a merchant. You're just selling something different. You might not be looking to make money out of it, but your user don't care. They want to use their iPad. They want to be looking at activity. They want to search activity, find them at Monday night at 10 o'clock in their bed. They want to interact with you like they interact with everybody else. So it took us a while. And that's where we've kind of made a decision that's gonna lead us to billion-dollar company, but I was not that obvious. Instead of going deeper and deeper in a vertical, we went horizontal. Okay, after
Mm,
three gymnastic club, we tackled the after-school program, and then we have to, in order to prove that the platform can be generated. So there's no point if I build a platform and the only thing you can do is to register to soccer and football in your community.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has much more value if can you use your profile and start interacting with Park and Rec and YMCA and da 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 da. So to me, it was really, really important that we go horizontal. So that's the way we started to go to the YMC and then the multi-sport plan to up to a park and rec organization. And we've built that huge platform that can solve the issue of anybody that has an activity. And that's why when we get a driving school come to us, it works. That's why Canine Academy works. That's why the Park and Rec works. We've built something very generic. It took us a long time to get there, like 10 years to build it along the way. And that's why now we're really excited that where we are post-pandemic on the growth we're expecting. Because we know it's not acceptable that these organizations like that, worse than that, they lack resources. They're starting to have less resources to manage the organization. The,
Well,
the impact we've got on the revenue is tremendous.
yeah, like so what kind of uptick do you see percentage wise?
We grow their business 30%
That's
the first
awesome.
2 years. Think
So,
about it. Swim
well,
pool school. They do 300 a year. After 2 years, they do 400. Wow.
oh
They've
yeah,
not they've not invested anything more. We just fill in their place.
you just
Yeah,
made it easier.
sure. The swim class Saturday morning 9 o'clock swim class for boys 12 years old are full and are worth a lot. But the 4 o'clock might be nobody in there. We just increase the usage. Think about the same concept of an hotel. If you don't fill in your pool today, you lost money.
That's I. So let me ask you this: what's the single best way to grow revenue for a platform as a service, kind of like your solution?
That's a good question. I think product led would be the best. Where and word of mouth in my case. I'll give you an example. So we've been working only on the organization side. So I've got a
Hmm.
thousand organizations, and a thousand might seem a lot, but it's like nothing. There's about 500,000 in the U.S. that we can tackle. We've
Wow.
got 60 park and rec. There's 30,000 in the U.S. It's huge, huge, huge market. Nobody see it. Nobody cares about it until you interact with it. Um, so so word of mouth and is going to be very, very important in product led because reaching out to those people, all those people, is very, very difficult. Um, so out of the thousand organizations, that's equal about 5 to 10,000 admin. But we have 5 million unique user profiles on the platform, and that's the user that drives the adoption. That's the user that goes to the soccer club and goes like, "Come on, have to show up in person Thursday night with a form and a check?
Hmm.
Are you kidding me?" And then I'm getting at the counter. They look at me. Sorry, we're full. Well, that's the state of the. Eh? So we're going to be starting to enable more of those users to start having them push, and that's why we got the first 60 park and rec in the U.S. because those executive directors were really early adopter, and they say, "Hey, I have to serve my customer. It's all about serving my citizen. My citizen doesn't want to call me to book something. My citizen expect me to be like Amazon, like all of those sites." Okay? And this is where the market is going. But the user is really key for us.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. There's tons of opportunities and there's great use cases. I mean, that's how Slack got 97% of their users. Dropbox added 35% month over month growth from user led referral programs. So there's some really cool things you could do there. So I love that. We're just about up on time. So I think this was awesome, in your approach for a platform as a service and how you decided to go not just you started off kind of vertically and then you shifted horizontally. I think that's great and it's spread and then you're hitting at both ends at the top and at the bottom, enterprise and product like growth. So I think that's pretty cool as well. So let's do a quick, just kind of just quick rundown of the episode. So for you, like who's your favorite founder that you follow or enjoy their work?
Hmm. I will probably disappoint you there. I don't follow a lot of people. I don't have people that I kind of I don't have any of them. What you could say, "Hey, François, I'll have you meet that person." I would go like, "Okay." But you want a funny a funny story? I'm close to a big bank here, very close to the banker. and they've been watching the company. They think the company will go public, and they're helping me raise a specific amount of money. And 2 years ago, he invited me to a dinner. So I have no clue. It's the summer. I have got my shorts and a t-shirt, and go to the place. It's on the 44th floor of the bank, which is their private restaurant. And I'm like, oh, people are all dressed up, and I get into the room, and there's all those people, and the guy comes and starts talking, and I'm like, I have no clue who's that guy. Turns out he was the CEO of the bank, and I had a really great chat with that guy, but I don't. I would lie to you if I say I'm following that
It's
guy.
okay. It's okay. So, all right. So, how about like, do you have a favorite podcast or show that you watch or listen to? No, either. You're so focused on the business. Okay, that's fine.
I have a kind of probably an attention deficit. I might start with listening to the podcast, and then I go like, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to do something else. I'm not a good reader neither. It's kind of, well, I think I'm probably it doesn't fit the mold at all.
That's
I
okay,
read books,
man.
and after two chapters, I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. I'm tired.
So you're a doer, man. You spend most of your time
Well,
executing.
you know what? I think what would most describe me, I hired the best people at their job, and I let them do it. I know nothing about sales. I know nothing about nothing. And my whole purpose in life is to build a business where I can play golf all the time and be rich out of it. Okay? That's kind of weird. I don't have an ego. I don't care. I'm building something that's going to be big, that's going to be sustainable. I love my employee. They love Amilia. We're all in the same boat. Other than that, I'm not going to listen to a podcast on sale because that's not my job. I don't care.
Right. You'd hire someone for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. So what advice would you give your 20-year-old self then?
Go in business faster. That's 13 years ago. I was 41 years old. I should have gone in business. I should be having more entrepreneurial than I was. Even meaning that instead of going to work at the Case of Depot, so I got a master in finance and a CFA, I should have driven to New York and go big.
Go big. Yeah. Love that, man. All right.
Uh,
Well, go
yeah.
ahead. Were you finishing up?
No, well, that's kind of, yeah.
So yeah, so that's great insight. And it's funny because I've thought that about myself as well. I'm like, I should have started earlier. Like I should have started like 3 or 5 years earlier. Like, but sometimes you don't realize that till it's in the rearview mirror, right?
Yeah.
So where can people find more about you, Francois? Where can they find out more about Amilia?
Well,
And then we'll wrap things up.
yeah, well, definitely on our website, amilia.com, especially if you think you can bring us a lot of value as in marketing and sales. We're looking for people like anybody else. We are on LinkedIn. We publish a lot of content on LinkedIn and Facebook. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Inquire. If people want to know about us, reach out to us. We are really, really nice people at Amilia. We love to help the community. We love to help each other. There's only one. At Amilia, we define ourselves as a million. We have our own icon. I would say not icon, I'm looking for the right word. But and there's only one word you have to remember if you're in a million. It's care. At Amilia, we care. We care to do the right thing.
That's excellent. Well, thanks for being on the show, man. It was great hearing your perspective, and I love the journey that you have. It was completely different than I think anybody else I've interviewed. So it was awesome to hear your perspective and your vision, and I know you guys will do well.
Well, thank you very much for the chance to talking with you, and watch for Amilia coming to your town one day, and have your wife saying, "Oh, I just had the best experience of my life with a company called Amilia," and you'll say, "I know that guy."
All right, awesome. Thanks, Francois.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.